From New Jersey is recognized for 3
Thank
minutes.
you so very much. Madam Speaker, on September 9th, 2009, President Obama stood 6 feet from where I stand now, right at that podium, and told lawmakers and the American public in a specially called joint session of Congress on health care reform that, I quote, "Under our plan, no federal dollars will be used to fund abortion." In an 11th hour ploy to garner a remnant of pro-life congressional Democrats, and they were convinced, and they were deceived, needed for passage of the Obamacare legislation, the President issued an executive order on March 24, 2010, and it said, and I quote in pertinent part, "The Act maintains current Hyde Amendment restrictions governing abortion policy and extends those restrictions to newly created health insurance exchanges." That is absolutely, I say to my friends, untrue. Despite an appalling degree of non-transparency, we finally asked the General Accountability Office to look into it. Last September, they came back and said 1,036 Obamacare exchange plans covered abortion on demand. GAO also found that separate billing of the abortion surcharge required by the Act is not being enforced by the administration, and the abortion funding premium, and again in 2015, is being illegally rolled into the total plan cost. Healthcare consumers are therefore unaware when they buy their health insurance whether or not they're paying for abortion on demand. If the Hyde Amendment had been applied to Obamacare, the number of Obamacare plans covering abortion on demand would be 0. At its core, I believe my colleagues should know this by now, some don't, this side of the aisle, and some on that do. The Hyde Amendment has 2 indisputable parts. It prohibits direct funding for abortion and funding for any insurance plan that includes abortion, except in the cases of rape, incest, or to save the life of the mother. Obamacare violates the Hyde Amendment by funding insurance plans that pay for abortion on demand. H.R. 7 seeks to accomplish 3 goals. Make the Hyde Amendment and other current abortion funding prohibitions current, and that includes the D.C. rider, permanent. Ensure that the Affordable Care Act faithfully conforms with the Hyde Amendment as promised by the President of the United States. Third, provide full disclosure, transparency, and prominent display of the extent to which any health insurance plan funds abortion on the exchanges. Last January, the House passed H.R. 7 by a vote of 227 to 188. It languished in the Senate for a year, never took it up. This is the same bill. It's been through regular order. Hearings have been held as well as markup. The American people, Madam Speaker, strongly oppose taxpayer funding for abortion. The Marist poll that was just released yesterday found that 68% of all respondents oppose using taxpayer funding for abortion, and a whopping 69% of women are against taxpayer funding for abortion, and 71% of the millennials are against taxpayer funding for abortion.
I yield the gentleman 1 more minute.
I thank my friend.
Madam
Speaker, we live in an age of ultrasound imaging, the ultimate window to the womb and the child, that precious child who resides there. We are in the midst of a fetal health care revolution, an explosion of benign interventions designed to diagnose, treat, and cure the precious lives of these children. Abortion is antithetical to that. It dismembers, chemically poisons, shots to the heart to stop the heart from beating. As you know, and I know my friend from New York is next to speak, at testimony before your committee, Dr. Levantino said, and he's an abortionist, he said, the baby can be in any position in the uterus. You just reach in with a sofa clamp and grasp whatever you can. You pull out an arm, he went on to say. You pull out, reach in again and again, and you tear out the spine, intestine, hearts, and lungs. These are gruesome procedures. That is what abortion is all about. The dismemberment and chemical poisoning of children. H.R. 7 will save lives. There's no doubt about that. The Hyde Amendment, I remember when Henry Hyde was told that maybe even more than 1 million children have survived because of the Hyde Amendment. Tears came down his face knowing that those kids are now in the world, going to school, having their own families and playing soccer and doing other great things. Yield back.